Hi guys, I am here with Brolykeys. He is joining us all the way from Texas. How are you today?
I am doing great. How are you?
I am good. So I apologize in advance for the delay. What I was trying to do was fix all of the lovely audio issues that always occur with the echo. But I finally got that fixed, hopefully. If I did not, please let me know in the comments. Um, so I wanted to start off by thanking you for taking the time out to join us all today. Um, so tell us a little bit about your history. So, for example, when did you start playing video games? What inspired you to become a part of the fighting game community? And did you always use your tongue?
Well, I started playing roughly around the end of high school, maybe my senior year of high school. I got into this game called Super Smash Brothers, and it was something weird for me to like get into right away because you know I I've always been the guy that people looked at, curiously. That's putting it lightly. But, having something that was in common with other people and other players, such as Super Smash, it was easy for me to make friends with it. And getting into tournaments and being able to, carpool to, further distances, like, maybe San Antonio tournaments or Houston tournaments, it really allowed me to open up as a person. Um, so once I started, going through these kind of changes, I began learning how to play at an optimum level with my face. I've always played with my face ever since I was 2 years old when I had an NES. So it's something that I was, really grateful of having the ability to do it because I'm this kind of competitive person that wants to play and wants to beat the other opponents up. And whether I wanted to
Right.
get on the football field and join them, or I wanted to play, tag with others, I couldn't do that. So playing video games has allowed me to kind of quench that urge of competition, and I love it, and I enjoy doing it, and I'm glad that I'm able to do it.
That's great. Now, I know that you started at a young age, and I think that, it's a fantastic, um, I lost my train of thought. But where I was going with this is it takes us, I mean, when we play, we have to learn how to play with our fingers. And
Mhm.
we have to learn mentally to learn the moves and apply that with our hands to the arcade sticks or the controller that we're playing with. But you, however, use your tongue, which is something I can't even possibly imagine being able to do an input with when I play fighting games. So, how long, with training did it take you, to really master using your tongues for the controls?
Um, this is something that it took me a good while to do. Because when I'm a kid, I'm just trying to know what's on the floor. I'm on the floor and the remote's on the floor, and my parents basically set it all up, turned on the TV, and was hoping I would find a way. And I first put my hand on the controller pad, just like normal people would, and I tried putting my other hand on the other pad, but it just didn't work out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept trying, falling, and I kept trying to like balance myself to where I could use the controller because I wanted to move Mario. I mean, my first game was Super Mario Bros. 3, so I was trying to move Mario the right way, and it just wouldn't work. And then once I got to be able to move him, how was I going to be able to jump? Because jump was A, and I needed to find a way to press these buttons. And one day, all of a sudden, I put my wrist on the control pad, which was the most comfortable way of using the control pad at maximum capacity. And all of a sudden, I just fell, face first onto the control.
I can't hear you. Oh,
You can't hear me?
no, I can now. Sorry, go
Uh,
ahead.
so yeah, so then I ended up using my face to press the buttons, my chin at first,
Hmm.
and it started working out well. Then once I started playing the newer systems like the GameCube and the PlayStations, I had to use my whole face to use all the buttons and the control stick together. And so using my mouth, I was able to press each button at a time. And at first I couldn't play the real complex games that needed 3 or 4 buttons pushed at the same time. That was pretty hard for me. But
Hmm.
after a lot of learning and training and getting used to the controller and the layout of each game, I was able to pick it up pretty quickly after a while.
Well, I mean, I personally just think that that is amazing, and I have so much respect for you being able to learn and master a game using, you know, your face and other body parts, and being able to adapt like that, especially because, and I want to definitely bring this up, last weekend you attended Absolute Battle, and for the first time in your life, using your tongue, you got into top 8 and were 5th place. So, tell me a little bit about what that experience was like for you and how you felt in that moment when you finally were able to accomplish something that all of us who play video games are dreaming of getting.
Yeah, I guess as the days go by, it kind of hits me like a little harder, like knowing that at a major tournament I was able to get top 8. Thinking of how many players that are like on Xbox Live, how many players go to casual meetups and who train their whole time just to get a decent placing, and for me to do it with my face and with the limitations that I have, I'm starting to understand a little better that it is a big accomplishment. I mean, in my mentality as a gamer, as a competitive player, I mean, I've been following tournaments for a long time, and to me, it's like it's never enough until I win it all. I have that drive, that motivation that I need to do better and play better. So when I got to top 8 and when I finished 5th place, I was more bummed than more than anything, just because I was like, man, I didn't do so well in the finals, and I should have done better and this and that. But once I was able to reflect on it and see what it's done for me and how long I've got taken, well, how long how long I took to get to this spot. It's I guess it's pretty remarkable. I'm just not one to like to brag about it like that, but I do enjoy this. I enjoy getting to 5th place, and next tournament I hope to get even higher, 4th place, or maybe win it all.
I think that we're all hoping that for you. And I mean, obviously, for you, you might not view it that way, but for everybody else watching, I mean, it's just one of those things that we don't always imagine, but we're watching you do, and I think that that's something that you deserve credit for, and you deserve to celebrate. Getting that accomplishment and getting into top 8, and you should. I don't think you should view it necessarily as oh man, I'm bummed out. I didn't get to grand finals or I didn't win, because even getting to top 8 using your tongue, I mean, if I tried it, I mean, believe me, I wouldn't even get past, the first match. So I really, really hope um, to see you, get to top 8 again and potentially grand finals or win. What's the next major that you plan on going to?
Well, I guess the next one that I'm planning to go to is Kumite in Tennessee, or short for KIT. I went there this past year, and I enjoyed it a lot. I know the stream is going to be run by Panex Gaming again, and big shout outs to him because I've been a fan of his stream production levels. Like they've been on point these last few years, and I've been following his channel for just a long time. And so whenever he's at an event doing something, I'm always wanting to be there. That's the plan that I have. Barring I fix up my van and all, which is my only way of transportation. But um, yeah, that seems like the one that I want to go to next. I mean, I'm always open to go other tournaments. I know there's SCR and there's NEC and stuff like that, and I'm open to go to those. But it just depends on funding and whether or not I can make it there. But KIT seems like the most reasonable next tournament that I'm going to be going to.
Of course, yeah, funding and transportation can always be a big issue for a lot of us when there are tournaments we want to go to and they're across the country. But
Yeah.
so I did have a question about your character choice. So out of all the characters in Street Fighter, you chose Chun-Li, and I was curious why she was your choice. She's not one that you hear people say. Well, you don't hear guys say very often, at least.
Right. It's kind of like trial by error with the characters that I chose. The first character I wanted to play in Street Fighter was Sea Viper, but obviously Sea Viper is just way too technical for me to use with my face because I played fighting games before, but Smash is way different compared to Street Fighter. So I had to kind of learn while I'm picking this character how to press every button and pick the right buttons. So I tried using Viper, didn't work out. Then I tried using Balrog, and because a friend of mine told me that for you might be better with a charge character. It's a lot less motions, and you might master it. So I
Right.
started using Boxer or Balrog, and I didn't have all the buttons to use him. I already had my layout. I already had my throw and my three kicks and three punches and middle punch. I already had everything set up, but I needed jab to make Balrog work. So he couldn't be used. So then I went on to Chun Li, and yeah, it just seemed to fit. Everything fell in the right place. Her normals were just as long. I like using characters with long range normals. She had a fireball, just something that I could use for zoning and spacing, and she's just someone that I found really fun to use in the beginning. So it took me a couple years to really master her, though. It wasn't just I picked her up and then a month later I was really good. I mean, it took me all of the first Street Fighter 4 and Super just to even get decent enough at a local tournament level. So, but I mean, also because I like looking at her legs. So
I won't lie. There was someone on the chat and he was saying, "Cuss those legs." Don't lie. It was the legs.
it was
So
yes, it was the legs. But yeah, no, she just fit me completely, and it's just that irony, feeling too. It's like I use a
mm,
character that is mainly known for her legs, and I'm, don't really use mine. So it's just kind of like a funny thing too. But no, she worked out really well, and I'm glad to have picked her as my main character.
definitely. Speaking of Chun-Li and new Street Fighter games, so Street Fighter 5 has been a very hot topic lately, and Chun-Li is one of the characters. Do you plan on learning Chun-Li in Street Fighter 5, or are you thinking about maybe dabbling in some of the new characters that Capcom has come out with?
Well, yeah, when the beta came out, I started playing Street Chun Li, and just because a lot of people wanted me to pick her and didn't want me to leave her alone. The loyalists wanted me to pick it, but to be honest, I'm going to be maining Karen in the next Street Fighter Five. She
Ken.
just seems, yeah, she's been a character that I've been really liking for the longest time, even before Chun Li. And looking at her in the new game with her normals and her dashes, she just seems really fun. I just didn't find that flair with Chun in Street Fighter Five that I did with Karen. Chun just kind of plays like Street Fighter Four, and I've kind of played that already for a good 5 years. So I don't really want to go back to it. But
So you want something new.
I want something new, and Karen's kind of just fulfills that. There's other characters that I want to use. I do want to dabble with each character at least for a little bit, other than the grappling characters because they're really hard for me to use. But I do want to dabble with a lot of characters just to see maybe I end up liking someone else, and maybe I find another character to second. But I'm not gonna lie, Chun Li's gonna be there. Chun Li's just taking a back seat. We got Karen driving the car right now, and that's just the way it is for now.
What do you think about Street Fighter Five in general, compared to Street Fighter Four?
Well, Street Fighter Five, it looks amazing. So let's just first put that out. It looks amazing. I love the character designs. Yeah, maybe some of the characters' hair don't look that great, but I mean, there's little things. It's still beta, it's still early in the stage, so I'm sure they'll fix that stuff. But the gameplay is pretty cool. It does kind of have an a throwback feeling to it. My only concern with Street Fighter Five is that the difficulty of the game is not that high. When I played on there, I was doing just normal buns and simple combos, and it looked like it led to so much damage, and it looked like I was just beating people left and right. And I want there to be a tighter window, to hit combos, make it a little difficult. I know they want to
Right.
appeal to the newcomers, but we need to be able to feel like we're working at this instead of picking up 5 characters in 1 week and having them all ready for tournament time. Um, that's my only concern. Other than that, I'm ready for Street Fighter Five. I think everyone is. Street Fighter Four is slowly starting to die off, and it's. I still think Street Fighter Four is one of the best fighting games. Period.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think we're all ready for Street Fighter Five.
No, I mean I'm definitely ready for Street Fighter Five, but I can definitely um agree with you to an extent about it being easier. When I was playing the beta, I was playing as a Nash a lot, and I was doing combos that I didn't realize I could do. Like they were like
Oh,
these really long, elaborate combos into the, and I was just like, wow, I feel like I'm suddenly like top tier at this game, and like I didn't feel like I was on that level yet. So I do think that there are some um maybe a few things they can do to tweak it so at least it doesn't feel so easy. I'm in no way Justin Wong or anything. You're not going to see me winning any majors in the next couple months, but I mean I definitely was doing moves I didn't do. So I do agree that they need to maybe add something, something in
maybe like a
there. Maybe I'm sorry.
maybe like an easy mode, kind of like in Marvel Two, where you
Yeah.
have normal and easy. Have like an easy mode to where links, combos are not just 3 frames and more. It could be 1 frame or whatever. So for hard mode or normal mode. So it's an idea, I guess.
So there's been, there's been a lot of new characters announced in general, but one in particular was announced today, Zangief, and I have seen a lot of talk about this today because they really changed him a lot,
Yeah, they did.
from how he used to be. For example, there doesn't seem to be any more green hands, but
No.
he also apparently can headbutt fireballs. That was I watched that happen in one scene. I watched him headbutt a fireball, and I'm like, "What is that easy?" I mean, it didn't seem very realistic. But there were some other things he had that were really good. But then his super ultra at the end, it didn't seem very hype at all. So, what are your views on the Zangief reveal? Do you think they
Um,
changed him too much, or?
No, this is a new game, and I expected a lot of characters to get changed up. Maybe they changed, like they probably should have kept Green Hand and Lariat and stuff like that, just to stay true to his core old, style game. But I don't really disagree with any of the changes they made, other than the super armor. But I'm waiting to see how that really works out in an actual fighting set.
Right.
Um, the headbutting on the fireballs, like I don't know, it just seems like this game is kind of leaning toward getting rid of zoning, and every character seems to have an answer for fireballs, and they wanted to give Zangief one too. I mean, if that's what they're working for everyone to have, then yeah, I hope it works out well. Um, he just he looks fun. I think they don't want him to be the towering, giant that just moves really slow and is just looking to do spinning pile drivers. They want him to actually feel like a character that can
Right.
actually fight. So that part I do agree, and I do like the changes of it. I just hope it flows in, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of changes, and people are. This is just testing, and we'll see how it goes. I know a lot of people are rushing to judgment, but I think we should just let this character play out and see how it works, and then we'll see if he'll win or not, or he'll do good.
So, speaking of Street Fighter V characters being announced, there's only a few left for the initial main cast of the game. I believe there's still one more new one that they haven't announced at all yet, and then the rest are just like classic or regular characters we've seen before. Who is the one character that you really, really want to see in the game that they haven't announced or that maybe we haven't seen in a while?
I'm going to say Urian. I think Urian
Oh man, everybody wants
deserves
you.
to be in the game. Yeah, I know. It's just a fan favorite. I was gonna say Alex, but
Here's another one. You should
Zangief,
have said Oro.
I kind of do. Oro is another one. I should have said Oro actually.
I really
Uh,
want Oro. I'm like a big advocate for it. I'm like half ready to write a petition up and send it to
I,
Ono. Like put
I do
Oro.
big energy blasts and the little garbage that he throws at people and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But no, Oro's a fine character. It's in between Oro and Urian, and see what's up. That's fine. And yeah, I think that would be a good choice to have. Is probably Urian or Oro.
I won't lie, I was trying to make a case for Necro this morning, but it wasn't working well in my favor. Then they announced Zangief, and I was sad because I wouldn't mind seeing Necro in it either.
Necro, I don't know. He's kind of like the dolls looking character, right?
Yeah, he's got an interesting look to him.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It doesn't seem like they're gonna put any third strike characters. They might wait for DLC. So that's kind of like what Street Fighter did, 4 did. They kind of waited and then they put third strike characters in. So hopefully we won't go that route, but who knows?
Okay, so I was curious your opinion on a gaming topic, and it seems to be popping up, especially this past week. And I'm not sure if you saw it, but Colin Coward, who used to work for ESPN, of course, if you've heard of him, you know that he doesn't exactly think highly of tournaments or esports and speaks against it a lot. But he just recently put out a video, I believe this past week or earlier in the week, and then he put out another one. But it was pretty much making fun of the Guilty Gear XR Evo champion and using him as a ploy to make fun of all of us as gamers as a whole and placing us into that stereotype where we live at home with our, moms and we eat Hot Pockets and we're these major nerds and we don't go to college and all we do 24/7 is sit here. So
Mm-hmm.
I was curious your opinion on that because it seems like the esports topics, they seem to pinpoint on fighting games. They're not talking about anybody else. They keep showing clips of fighting games as a whole. So,
Mhm.
what is your opinion on the gaming stereotypes? Do you think it's something that we should be um, as gamers ignoring, or do you think it's something that we should actually, try to take a stand for and defend ourselves? Because majority of us, we have jobs, and we have a life outside of gaming, and we compete as well on top of it. So
Right. No, it's one of those things that like I would say, hey, we should defend ourselves and stand up to what his thoughts are on the subject. People are just hard headed, and some people just use things as tools to get views, and he wants to make a mockery of esports, and those are his opinions, and we have probably opinions ourselves of real life sports athletes, and maybe they just throw all their money in this and that, and they don't do anything 6 or 7 months out of the year, but that's just the way it is when it's the beginning of things. People, when they don't understand something, they're quick to judge it, and they use simple clips like what he's doing to make his basis on what he feels is the esports or what we do on our everyday lives. But I'm sure if you were to see, more stories such as, maybe me or, others that have used gaming to, better themselves and actually use it for a positive note,
right.
you wouldn't be repeating the same things you would be saying. Um, what we do as esports, and it's just another route that we chose to take. We are good at gaming. It's like speedrunners. When speedrunners go twice a year and raise $1 million for charity, where is he at calling them out saying all they do is sit down and do nothing with their lives when they're out there, doing it for a cause. So there's always positive and negative to each kind of organization,
Hmm.
and some people like to point out the negatives, and some people like to, really show off the positives and move toward a better future. And we could, stick around and tell, try to stand up to them and defend ourselves, or we should just ignore it and just keep on going what we feel is right, and continue ourselves into what we would want as esports. And that's my take on it. I just say ignore them.
No, yeah, I know. There were some people I was very passionate about it the other day because it made me mad. Because it's one thing I feel like to state your opinion. I think it's another to actually single out a player and use them as a ploy and use your popularity, at least, to a certain genre, say the sports section, and try to exploit it that way. I just kind of thought it took a whole new low. But yeah, there were people telling me, you should ignore it, while there were other people saying, yeah, let's,
Hey,
let's
put me on his show.
take
Let's see
him
what he
down.
does.
But I'm not really sure exactly how I take him down. I just think that I guess from my standpoint is I don't want to see a community that I've been fighting so hard to help get recognized for the amazing people they actually are and how talented they are to be recognized as something that they're not. Part of the reason why I started doing what I do is so that I can help people get to know who's in the scene and who they are, as a person, the person behind the gamer. So I think, for me, I'm very kind of passionate. I kind of take that opposite stance with it, but I definitely understand where people are coming from, where they just want to ignore it because they want to keep doing what they love, and why should they pay attention to the negative feedback that's coming
Right.
through? So I definitely agree, to an extent. I'm just probably never gonna back
No,
down
there's,
about how
there's
I feel about it. But
a,
so I read recently that you have written a book um that you have published. Tell us a little bit about that book, um, what you wrote about, and why it's important to you.
Oh well, yeah. I wrote a book about my life. It came out pretty much because I had a question on Facebook from this married couple. Well, the wife of this married couple who had a son that had the same exact diagnosis as I had, which is arthrogryposis. And I was already like 23, 24, and she's asking me questions on how what did your parents do to raise you? What is like how would you like to be raised? Like just the little questions because she was really new and she didn't know like exactly how because she knew that he was there mentally and that it was just the physical side that was keeping him down. And at first, I really didn't know how to answer it. I just gave my best advice was just to let him, make his choices. Don't make him feel like he's beneath anyone. Treat him like everyone else, and
Hmm.
that's the thing that he would love the most. So be treated just as equal as everyone else. And so she enjoyed it. She liked that, and it got me thinking I should write a book that kind of brings awareness to others about what we go through on a daily basis. Every person with a disability might have a different life and a different route on how they grew up, but I wanted to share some kind of insight. So, when people read my book and they see someone, disabled, maybe they'll look at it at a different way instead of being, just curious and then moving on.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's just a book about my life and how I went through school and how I had gone through college and gaming and how gaming really opened the doorways to the public's eye and how I was able to make so many friends just using just video games alone. I do plan on writing another book, talking about my adventures and my all my many trips going to tournaments and how it really helped me, open up as a person and allow me to be the guy I am today. So it's really good. It's called My Life Beyond the Floor, and you can find it on my website, Brolylegs.com or on Amazon. And yeah, I hope everyone that hasn't gotten a chance to read it to definitely take a read because it's really good. I must say.
Definitely, I think that you are an inspiration to more people than you might not realize. So I'll definitely be checking out the book, and I hope all the not the streamers, I hope all of the viewers who are watching will, at least take it into consideration as well. Um, I wanted to ask you, are you currently sponsored? Or if not, are you looking for sponsorship?
Currently, I'm not sponsored. I am in talks with a local team here that kind of helped us get to Absolute Battle, Blue Phoenix. Um, that's what I use my tag on for Absolute Battle, the BP. But yeah, right now I'm not really on a team. I have a lot of clans that I'm a part of, or that I am becoming a part of. Just to help them out, and they want to help me out too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but definitely, I'm always looking to get sponsored. I'm not gonna say my latest performance makes me deserving of high sponsorship or anything like that, but I know what it takes to really show off or how to help and market a team or with their merchandise, with shouting them out, being a big name and stuff like that. I think it definitely helps out any kind of team, and I'm always up to being a team player. A lot of these teams seem like they're in it for themselves, and once they're sponsored, that's it. But I'm always
Mm-hmm.
willing to help and to uh, just be a team player. For the most part, I that's what I usually do on the side. I coach people on Street Fighter 4, and through cross counter training, and they pay me an hourly rate, and I help them, get uh, at least decently to where they want to be at, and it's worked out well. So yeah, being sponsored would be cool. It lets me go to other places, but we'll see how that works out.
That's fantastic. Tell me a little bit about those sessions that you say they pay you an hourly rate to have you train them in Street Fighter. How do those sessions play out?
Well, the first thing I do when I signed up for that site, I mean, they offered me to be one of their trainers or tutors or whatever, and so I was able to fill out like a small biography of about me and what I can offer them as if they pick me as as a tutor. So my specialist, my specialties is Chun Li and Poison, but it's also more of the mental game and how to be more confident in a tournament setting. And I usually get on Skype, talk to them during the matches, and we either play a set or if he really wants to learn something specific, we'll go to training mode and practice doing those things. Or if he wants just a crash course on how to get good in Street Fighter 4, I will teach him different things that goes through our heads in a match, whether it's spacing, defense, combos, meter management, life management, and just how to deal with pressure from each and every character. I've gotten people wanting me to teach them Cody and Jury and Dalsum, and it's like I made Chun Li, but you know what? I can't help you with this if you really want to. So it's been worked out pretty well. I've not had anyone complain. I've had people book me more than once. So it's pretty awesome being able to help others, and I enjoy it. I hope more people choose me, and going to Street Fighter Five. I don't know if the training session will be going to Street Fighter Five, but I'm willing to help out people in the new game too to get good.
So, um, if anybody on who's watching the stream right now or who watches the upload to YouTube later on wants to get personal one-on-one training with you, Brolylegs, how would they be able to do that?
You just type in the URL crosscountertraining.com, and it will give you trainers that you want to select, and I am one of them. And you just take it from there. You make uh, an appointment in the future, and I will get an email, and we'll go from there.
So you're actually a part of Cross Counter, or are you just a part of the training that they offer?
I'm just part of their training. The Gutex and Mike Ross are my friends. I've known them for a long time now, ever since they did their interview with me that, kind of brought me onto this kind of stage. So, we always talk, and I always hop on their stream, and I enjoy their shows and their excellent adventures and stuff. And, Gutex came up to me and said, hey, do you want to be a trainer? You can teach people Chun Li. And I was like, yeah, why not? So that's what I did, and it's been working out really well. I like it.
That's great. So I know that you wrote a book and you are doing training and you got into top 8 at Absolute Battle. You seem to be heading in a very, very good direction when it comes to your gaming career right now. What is it that we can expect from you in the future? What are you hoping to accomplish in this upcoming year?
Well, hopefully, I'll be able to master Street Fighter Five really fast and be the best gamer out there. That's my goal. It's always been my goal, is to be the best, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, I do plan on finishing school here while I'm here, but at the same time, I do want to, at least be at a decent level to when I do finish, I'll be able to compete again and be on the top, just like where I always feel like I can be.
Well, I'm definitely excited to watch you compete at other tournaments and see how that all plays out.
Mhm.
Um, So I wanted to give um, the people watching the stream right now the opportunity to ask you some questions of my choosing,
Okay.
guys. So I will be monitoring and choosing a question that they ask. But um, before I do that, I wanted to ask if there is any other fighting game that you've actually considered playing, or if you're really dead set 100% on mastering Street Fighter as a whole.
Um.
For example, King of Fighters. I'm sure you
Yeah.
saw. I'm sure you saw their trailer for the new
Mhm.
game. That's kind of where I was going with that that question.
Right.
What is your opinion on that?
Um. I haven't really. I need to go back and look at it. I know a lot of people were making fun of the graphics of it and the look of
It
the game.
looked like a 3D, like a 3D like PlayStation 2 version. Only I had King of Fighters 2006, and this looked worse than that. And
Yeah.
KOF 2006 was 3D, so
Yeah. I don't
it
know
did not look
about
impressive.
that. Camp Fires is I got the game on Steam. Someone like wanted me to play it really bad on stream, and he bought it for me. So I was like, all right, I'll mess with it. It's the newest one. I have fun with it, and I could play it. Maybe not at a high level at all, but it's a fun game that I like playing. I'm really bad at picking characters because the characters that I really like end up being either low tier or like high execution that like I can never do, or it's like almost impossible for me to do without fingers.
Hmm.
Um, so uh, I want to say that I want to play another game. I'm not gonna count Smash. I play Smash 4 currently, but I want to try Tekken 7. I tried Tekken Tag 2 and I got monstered on in the beginning, and so I just kind of like, all right, I'm not playing this game. But I'm gonna try Tekken 7 when it comes out. Maybe an anime game. I don't know. Maybe I'll get into Guilty Gear. I was in love with Guilty Gear Accent Core for the longest time. I played it in the bridge between Smash and Street Fighter. So it helped me a lot getting into Street Fighter, but we'll see. I don't know. I want to give Guilty Gear a chance if I can do it, and if I can't, then I'll just stick to Street Fighter 5.
So you are very, very dedicated to Street Fighter, but Guilty Gear is actually one of my favorite anime games too as well. I don't play anime very much, but for anime fighting games at least. But Guilty Gear kind of for some reason steals my heart. I love that game. But so I am now going to take some questions. I already have one from God Squatch. How long did it take you to learn Dash Ultra?
Um, Man, Dash Ultra. Learning Ultra first like took me so many months. I remember my friend telling me what the motion of it, and I was like, how in the world am I supposed to do that? Like, I was not used to it. And it just took a couple times to get Ultra down. Then I was learning how to do Ultra with combos, and then Dash Ultra just came, from me learning and seeing it from another person. I think I saw a Japanese Chun Li player do it. I believe his name was like Hanayama or something. And so I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I want to learn how to do that. So I can close in and then hit it, during the fireball animation.
Mm-hmm.
And it just took me a really long time. I want to say a couple months because like I could get the dash, but like at first I had to like understand, okay, this is how it worked. And I kept asking like, is there a shortcut to this? Like how are you supposed to do forward forward in a back forward motion? And I couldn't really grasp the concept until I started seeing it more and more often. And then, I started doing it in training mode. Hit once, then mess up a couple times, and then hit it again until I got a little bit of consistency. And yeah, it just took me a while. And now I try it every time I can on in a regular match, and I know a lot of people saw it on One Excellent Adventure, so it's it was a proud moment to do it, but yeah, it's fun.
All right. So the next question that I have from Energy Solera is, what was one tournament experience or moment that you will never forget, whether it's good or bad?
Um, Let me think. A good experience or bad experience at a tournament. Uh, yeah. Let me see, man. I mean, I can name a lot of bad ones. You know, car breaking down, all that stuff. But a good one. Actually, no. This is a bad one too, but it's kind of funny, but kind of not. So there was this one Smash tournament that I really wanted to go to, and it was here in Houston. I forgot the venue. I'm not too sure. Anyways, I had my wheelchair, and this is like the first tournament that I had that was actually taking my wheelchair. And for some reason, their elevator didn't work, and their tournament was maybe 3 stories high. So, a lot of people were like, nah, like, because the tournament was upstairs. They were like, you know what? Let's just carry him upstairs. And I literally had like about 4 or 5 people carry me upstairs. And I was like, man, this is ridiculous. And it was like a winding stairs. It wasn't like just straight up or, like, it was like in, those spiral ones. So, man, I was praying for my life not to fall or anything like that. But nothing happened. It was all good, and I was actually able to win that tournament. So it was pretty good. But yeah, that was probably the one of the bad ones. If I can't really think of maybe a good one.
I can think of a good one for you, but I don't know if it's your good one.
Okay, go ahead. You can say it.
Getting fifth place at a major
You
tournament for
know,
the first time ever.
that's up there. It's still fresh in my memory. Maybe it will be my greatest moment. Um, You know what? A good moment is this last Evo. I playing against Daigo again. It was a really fun time. I did lose to him, but I was actually able to take a round off of him, and it just seemed like I was showing so much improvement. I played him the first Evo, or actually no, the second Evo that I went to.
Hmm.
We went into a room, and there was a bunch of people, and everybody was money matching a lot of people and stuff. Um, yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like a crazy experience because back then, he just destroyed me, and now we played at in tournament at Evo, and I was able to take a round and actually do really well. So I'm pretty happy for that.
That's good. That's definitely a great moment to have when you know that you've been practicing so much and that you're actually improving, especially against some of the best players that are out there.
Hmm.
So I am going to ask you a question that I apparently skipped over. This is to
Okay.
make Mike Loves Diana happy. So um, they want to know, is Hama the best coach mentor that you've ever had?
Hamad he is the greatest mentor in all of Texas. He doesn't even have to say a word to you, and he makes you thank him after tournaments. This is kind of like an inside joke. Basically, what happened is at Absolute Battle, the guy that got second uses Blanca, and he's one of my best friends here in Brownsville. Well, I was with them the whole time. In every match, every pool match, every top 8 match, I was right behind them. Coaching them. Giving them some words of encouragement, and he actually got to second place. Hamad is, one of the best players in Texas and the best player in Houston, and he was one of my close friends when I stayed in Houston.
Hmm.
But he only went till maybe like the final match and grand finals, and the Blanca player lost. So I didn't really understand where like him being the best mentor came from. But when they actually interviewed him for a post game interview, I was waiting for him to say my name of all the people he wanted to thank and shout out, and he didn't. He shout out Hamad, and I was like, wait, where is this coming from? I didn't, I mean, how do I deserve all this, bad? Like, I helped you get to second, and you even shout me out, and he's just really bad at speaking publicly, and I mean, I forgive him a bit, but we all give him, a little bit of gripe for it, because, like, that guy's, you should always remember, who's right behind your back, not some guy sitting in the crowd or whatever, but it's funny.
No, definitely. It's always good to have inside jokes and inside things with their players. It makes things more fun and interesting. There's definitely some out there right now that people love to troll me about, but I'm not bringing it up because I don't need to add to the mix of it. Um, so let's see. I have another question here. Where in the world would you like to travel to the most for fighting games or just in general? See, right after I said that, they mentioned it in the chat. But that has nothing to do with their question. Go ahead.
Where would I want to go? To be honest, I would love to go next year to Puerto Rico to that tournament. That tournament looks amazing. The atmosphere looks amazing. I know that they were like right by the beach and stuff. It seems like something that I would really love to go. Other than that, probably Japan. Um, but I know this question's from Juices, and I hate you, Juices. So he was my best friend in Houston, and I seen him this whole time telling me stuff. But he's funny. He's a troll. But yeah, no, Puerto Rico is my favorite place.
Have you ever been there before?
No, I haven't. I mean, to be honest, I've never been on a plane. So hopefully we'll test it out this winter if I can go to a tournament and see if it works out. I don't know. We'll see how they are with their handicap policies and stuff like that.
I went when I was 14. Granted, I was very young and it was a family trip, but it was definitely it's definitely a place I would go back to. So especially now that I'm older and not a teenager and under my parents' care. But I do hope that you do get the opportunity to go to Puerto Rico next year.
Yeah.
Have you ever traveled outside of the country at all, or?
No, I haven't. I mean, I think I've been to Mexico once when I was little, but that's about it. I've never been outside of it. Just before this whole traveling, I had never gone outside of Texas, and now I've been through all the way through Tennessee, Atlanta, Vegas. So it's been a great trip.
That's great. All right. I am going to ask one more question from the viewers out there. So lay them on me, guys. Well, I mean, all right. Either they're thinking of it or
They're probably thinking
they're
about it.
they're probably thinking about. Oh, wait. Let's see. All right. So I am going to ask you my signature question that I ask in all of my interviews.
Mhm.
If you could be, what? What? Never mind. I will wait. Who's your favorite wrestler, John Cena or John Cena?
Uh, my favorite wrestler is Shawn Michaels,
Not John Cena?
not John Cena. I'm sorry. John Cena's cool though. John Cena's a cool wrestler. Nah, Shawn Michaels is one of them. Triple H, Stone Cold, stuff like that. I'm more of the Attitude Era. Nowadays, I don't really watch anymore. But back then, yeah, I loved. Me and my dad would always watch WCW and WWF and stuff like that. So we had a lot of fun watching the old wrestling days, and now I just kind of drifted off. I still watch from time to time. I do like Brock Lesnar though. That guy is that guy is my favorite right now. But of all time, I'd say Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I don't watch wrestling a lot, but I do watch MMA a little bit, so I probably know more about that than I do about wrestling. But so what is your favorite anime?
Ooh, favorite anime. I mean, you guys do know what's on my tag, right? You know where Broly comes from, right? Um, I mean that's an obvious one. So I mean, I'll pick something else. I think my second favorite anime would have to be Trigun. Trigun's like one of the best animes I've seen. That whole story is good. I don't know. Have you seen Trigun before?
No, I'm
You should
curious though.
you should definitely watch it. It's basically a Western style gunslinger kind of anime,
Ooh.
and it has somewhat of like outlaw star kind of thing, but it just happens to deal with this main character named Vash that they feel like he's this, terrible human being that
Mhm.
destroyed the moon a long time ago, and there's this big bounty on his head, but he really isn't. He's just, he's like they make him out to be this monster, but he's not, and so you kind of like these these insurance policy girls follow him, and they're waiting for him to do something crazy, but he's not, and he's actually like defending people and stuff like that. Like it's really good. You should definitely watch it.
I will check it out probably later this weekend, but I'll check it out. Um, so I want to thank you, Glenn, for taking the time out to talk with me, and so we can get to know a little bit more about you and who you are, and I can learn more about these lovely viewers here and there. um, so I'm gonna ask you my signature question that I always love to ask. If you could be one superhero and one fighting game character, who would it be and why?
So I have to pick one superhero and fighting game character, or one or the other.
Yeah, you have to pick one of each
One.
combined together into one major
Wow.
hyped up superhero.
Wow. Okay. Superhero. I would say the Flash for funny reasons, and a fighting game player. I would say Modoc.
Okay,
Modoc.
can
Modoc
I
is
can
just like
I can I ask why Modoc? No one's ever quite said that one to me before.
why Modoc? Because he is just the main guy. He was one of the guys that really wanted to play at Marvel, but I got scared off into doing it. He's just this cool, like he's just sitting on his little machine. Kind of reminds me of me in a way, where he just uses all this robotic stuff, and you know he's just sitting there. I don't know. It's just funny. It just happens. It looks like me, and I don't know. It's one of the things that a lot of people have been telling me to be as like a cosplayer or whatever. But yeah, that's my combination that I'm gonna give you. The
that
Flash
that
sucks.
might actually be one of the best combinations. The Flash and Modoc combined into one. I That's like epic in my brain right now.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for suggesting that one. Well, thank you again as well for taking the time out to speak with me. Are there any shout outs that you would like to give?
Well, yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Ahmad, of course, for being the best mentor ever. Shout outs to Solara, Juices, Frank, um, to Cast, to everybody here in the RGV, that support me in gaming and stuff like that. To Tenchi, of course, she's always supporting me too. and to Daigo for being the best player in all the world.
All right. Well, thank you so much to tuning in, my amazing viewers, and thank you million times again
Yeah,
for
no, no.
doing this interview. And I hope that you have a great night. And I also hope that you do well at KIT and you get in top 8 again.
I will definitely. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I will stream again soon.
All right, bye everyone.